Imagine you're getting bullied at school every day, getting your lunch money jacked, punched in the face, shoved in lockers, all that Saved by the Bell shit. Then one day the bully says, hey, time out, truce. There's a fight going down at the school up the street. I'm gonna go check it out. I need you to come with me. You're like, what the hell? I don't even know anybody at that school. What's it gotta do with me? And the bully's like, yeah, neither do I, but they shouldn't be fighting. So then you're like, also, why should I help you? You've been stealing my lunch money since first grade. And the bully's like, you know what? You're right. As soon as we get back from that other school, I'm gonna stop bullying you. You don't deserve that. Now you're on board. If for nothing else, then the promise of living a bully-free life. You guys go storming into that school, battle for what feels like 19 years, losing some really good kids in that fight, but you make it out alive. First day back at school, when it's all said and done, you see the bully in the hallway. You walk up to him, and you're like, hey man, good fighting over there. Nice teamwork. And the bully turns to you and says, give me your lunch money. That's pretty much the Vietnam War for black people. Alright, welcome to Tait's Take. If you're new here, I drop movie reviews every week, give you my personal opinion on whether I think you should check it out or not. If that's something you're into, make sure you hit that subscribe button for your boy. To my regular Tait's Takers, welcome back. Spike Lee got another one. Let's get into it. The Five Bloods is the movie that was originally written in 2013 by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo. That version of the movie was called The Last Tour and was actually going to be directed by Oliver Stone. And that's interesting because not only was he the dude that wrote Scarface, for all my MTV Cribs fans out there, but he's the dude that directed Platoon. What's Platoon, you may ask? Well, it's probably the most popular Vietnam War movie. Came out in 1986 and won like 4 Academy Awards. In 2016, I'm not sure why, but Oliver Stone dropped out. Spike Lee picked it up and then started to rework the script with Kevin Wilmot. Those two worked together to write The Black Klansman, where Spike Lee won his first Academy Award. Let's talk casting here, and it's a lot to get through on this one. I'm pretty sure I'm the only nigga that's not in this movie, but anyway. The main characters that make up the Five Bloods are as follows. You got 2 dudes you may recognize from The Wire in Clark Peters and Isaiah Whitlock Jr. You got Norm Lewis, who's popular on Broadway in things like Phantom of the Opera. Of course, we have Chadwick Boseman, who we know from Black Panther. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but to the folks at Marvel, can you please keep Beyonce as far away from that movie as possible? Thanks. We got my man Delroy Lindo, who we know from Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X. And we have Jonathan Majors, who plays Delroy's son David in the film, who you may recognize from The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Alright, plot time. The Five Bloods is the story of 5 black war veterans. They all served together in the Vietnam War. They call each other blood because they see each other as family, which is actually a real expression used by black Vietnam vets. The movie starts with 4 of the 5 Bloods getting together for the first time in years. Stormin' Norman, who's played by Chadwick Boseman, is the 5th Blood and their captain. He died in battle, but his body was never recovered. The 4 surviving Bloods are traveling back to Vietnam for the first time since the war, with the hopes of finding their fallen captain. Also, bonus mission, there's $17 million worth of gold bricks that they found in the war and hid with the intentions of coming back for. Kind of reminds me of that movie Blue Streak. Remember with Martin Lawrence when he was the thief and he hid that diamond when he was getting arrested? And when he got out of jail, the spot that he hid it at actually turned into a police station. And instead of just sneaking into the vents, he turns himself into a fake cop to get to it while solving real crimes. Yo, low-key Blue Streak was fire. Damn, my bad, y'all. Get serious. This is a serious movie. So the Bloods have 2 missions here. Find Norman and find the gold. And we got a movie. So what's my take? Honestly, Spike Lee got him another one here. This thing is well done, pretty much start to finish. I've never been a big fan of war movies. I mean, 1917 started to change my mind, but this might have done it for good. Let's get into what I liked about it. First, the visuals. Now the budget on this thing was upwards of $45 million, which is a long ways away from the $6 million budget he used to make Do the Right Thing. Still a classic though, but it paid off here because all the shots look really good and all of the filming was done in Thailand, so money well spent. Second thing I liked about this movie was the cast. Fun fact, when this movie was announced last year, some of the original cast that they were targeting was Samuel L. Jackson, Giancarlo Esposito, and Don Cheadle. Obviously those guys would have been great, but I think that the cast that they ended up with was perfect, especially Delroy Lindo. In the movie, he plays the blood with the most apparent PTSD, and he's giving a non-stop Oscar-worthy performance. There's also the angle he plays of being a black Trump supporter, which creates some tension, to say the least, when the rest of the Bloods find out. Delroy said he actually tried to talk Spike Lee out of making his character a Trump supporter because he really didn't want to do it, but Spike wasn't budging. Took like 3 to 4 days of rereading the script and sleeping on it, and he finally came around and said, all right, let's do it. Side note, I couldn't help but wonder if his character was a subliminal shot at Kanye West, but y'all didn't hear that from me. Anyway, you just really believe the bond that the Bloods had, a bond that you can only have when you go through something like that with a group. And it's not only for veterans to understand the bond being shown. Anyone who played team sports, pledged a sorority or fraternity, although it's not the same thing as risking your life for your country, you just understand. The third and most important thing I liked about this movie are the themes. A major one being a rare look at what the Black experience was like fighting in the Vietnam War. Think about it. In the heart of the civil rights movement in our own backyard, Black people, who are only 13% of the United States population, somehow become 33% of Vietnam War soldiers. One of my favorite scenes in the film is one of the scenes with Veronica Ngo, who plays Hanoi Hannah. She's in Vietnam hosting a radio show and actually delivers the news of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. And she asks the Black soldiers what they're even doing there in Vietnam while they're killing our heroes back home. That's a good ask. It's a great ask. This was actually based on a real woman in wartime who taught herself English by watching movies like Gone with the Wind. So she was hired to deliver the news over the radio that the American soldiers could listen to. And at the same time she would challenge our Black soldiers to ask themselves why they were even there, she was also delivering real news from America. For example, she covered the Detroit riots of 1967 while the American broadcast left it out. It's fucked up. Fucked up. Imagine what that felt like, watching your brothers and sisters protesting back home in those American streets while here you are fighting a war for a country that's at war with you. Another theme I want to touch on is the father-son relationship between David and Paul, who is a Trump supporter. Although this is supposed to be a trip for the 4 Bloods to go get their 5th, Paul's son David catches wind of the additional mission to find gold and decides to tag along. But not only for the gold, but also because he knows how volatile his father can be. In a film where one of the slogans is, "Defy Bloods, we don't die, we multiply," we get to see the dynamic of what happened since one of them did die, how one of their actual Bloods, Paul's son, can fill that void. All the while David, who knows how problematic his father can be, still wants to earn his respect. It's heavy. As far as negatives of the film, the only downside was a moment towards the end of the movie where you see footage of a Black Lives Matter rally. I don't know if that was originally part of the movie, but it just seemed like it was an afterthought and just added in knowing what's going on in the country. But besides that, that's really it. I'm gonna give the 5 Bloods a star for each blood. Easy 5 stars for this great film that explores a topic that is grossly underrepresented. When the movie was done, Spike Lee actually held 4 screenings for Black vets who fought in the Vietnam War. He said that would be a true test of whether this film captured what he wanted accurately. He said they loved it, and more importantly, they were happy that someone was willing to tell their story. This movie is available on Netflix right now, and I definitely recommend y'all check it out. Great story, great writing, great laughs, and most importantly, a great history lesson. As always, thanks for checking out Tait's Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. In the comments, let me know if this ranks in your favorite Spike Lee movies. If not, what does? Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.